Hello world, this is Dennis, and it's been a while since I've done a radio review, so today I'm reviewing my Hallicrafters model S-40B. Now, according to the shortwave receivers past and present, written by Fred Osterman, this radio was made between 1950 and, oops, sorry, got a little bit of the book in the shot. It was made between 1950 and 1955. It's a single conversion super heterodyne radio with 8 vacuum tubes. This was my, excuse me, my first shortwave radio that uses vacuum tubes, and it's a really nice radio. This is the front panel. You got your main tuning, which is controlled by this dial right here, and then you got your band spread, which is controlled by this control right here. There's a standby switch, but here, let me turn the volume up a little bit. It doesn't really work. That's one of the things I would have to work on with this radio, and I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not, but there's a bit of a hum to the radio. Probably going to have to change out some capacitors. That's a project for some weekend to work on with my brother, because he's an electronics test technician, so he would know what to do and what to replace and everything. But other than that, the radio works fine. It receives AM and single sideband on here. It's labeled CW. You got a noise limiter switch, automatic volume control. You got the tone control. I usually put it on low because I usually don't like high pitched, or where the treble is up higher. Usually I like prefer it lower, a little bit more bassy. This is pitch control right here. That's what you would use when you have it on sideband. This is volume. This is your band selector, and then this is your sensitivity. It covers the bands. It covers from short AM through shortwave, and even past shortwave. This one goes up to, can't quite see it on the dial, I think it's 40 or 45 megahertz. Let me just confirm this with the book real quick. Okay, 43 megahertz. It's separated into 4 bands. Band 1 is your AM broadcast band, so 540 kilohertz to 1700 kilohertz. Band 2 is 1700 to, or 1700 kilohertz to 5.3 megahertz. Band 3, which I have it on right now, is 5.3 kilohertz, or megahertz, sorry, to 15.7 megahertz, and then finally band 4 is 15.7 megahertz to 43 megahertz. On the band 4, the 15.7 to 43 megahertz, it seems like it's a little bit quiet. It's almost like the same issue I have with the realistic DX160, although on the DX160 that entire band is dead, whereas on the Hallicrafters here I can actually hear something. Right now I have the radio tuned to 40 meters, and I was listening to some hams, so let me turn up the volume real quick and see if they're still talking.
We've got them on as well, and haven't done that, but maybe doesn't seem to be done. So, real good, Roger, on that. Well, Pennsylvania, I thought you were headed to Ohio, but that's okay. Yeah, we were over in Detroit during, I guess, about the same time that solar flare hit. So we'll see. It's kind of impressive.
The sound on this radio is amazing. Let me set the band spread back to 0, and let me try going to band 4 and see if we can hear anything there. Got the volume all the way, almost all the way up to full blast, and you should be hearing a little bit of static or something, but not hearing anything. hearing a little something now. Oh. Well, there's WWV, but that's way off because this is band 4, which should be 15.7 to 43 megahertz. So this radio could do with an alignment, sorry, but I don't know how to do that as of yet. So for now, you know, it'll do. Put back on band 3 here, and let's go up to 9 megahertz here. Find Brother Scare.
Last test. You've never.
Yeah, something a little bit louder.
Need to write a letter.
There we go.
Today. No plural. Address a letter to the Overcomer, Post Office Box 691, Walterboro, WAL.
I don't know how well the microphone's picking up, but I really like the sound from the speaker here. I've got this hooked up to my antenna setup. I got this twin lead right here, the kind that you used to use with the TVs with the screw terminals, and I got that running to. Let me just grab it here real quick. I got running to this balun that I used to use for my outdoor antenna, and obviously the coax goes to the antenna switcher. So, hold on a second. Okay, so overall for a 60-year-old radio, it does one heck of a job. Gotta love the old vacuum tube radios. It receives really good. When you put it on sideband, it drifts a little bit, but after a while, you know, it slows down or, you know, stops altogether. Since the upper bands are dead, you know, on band 4, I mainly use this radio in the evening, tuning around the international bands or listening to the ham radio bands. So for a rating, I would have to give this radio, I would give it a 4 out of 5. The reason why it's not a perfect 5 out of 5 is just because the band 4 doesn't work properly, but that's something that could be fixed. So if you would just forget about that, it would knock the score up to a 5 out of 5. I'm just really impressed with this radio, and oh, I just love old radios. They're big, there's, you know, lots of dials and switches to play around with. Compared to the Hammerland, I like this one for listening to the amateur radio bands on sideband a lot better, because it doesn't drift as much. On the Hammerland, for some reason, that thing drifts really bad, and that's even with letting the thing sit for a half hour. So maybe if I would let it sit longer, maybe it wouldn't be as bad, but I don't know, that's something I have to experiment with. But overall, the Hallicrafters S-40B is a great radio, and if you can find one on eBay or, you know, locally in really good condition, I highly recommend it to anybody who's interested in owning a tube-type shortwave radio. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, peace and all that good stuff.